Tu es prêt?
Oui.
He's not in a coma. They don't know what to call it. I want to leave. I want to leave this house.
It's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.
It's just about the creaking of a door, and maybe you think you see someone, standing in the corner of a room. I really wanted it to be like that. However, I feel that for a lot of today's younger generation that grew up with a lot of scary movies, where they're so used to seeing a lot of things, like today's kids are so used to the internet, YouTube, their camera phones. They're so used to being inundated with so much stuff. I knew that when I finally get to a certain point, I need to kind of show people more of the ghosts. In a lot of ways, like Jaws. You don't see a lot of the shark, but by the end of the movie, you do see a lot of the shark as well.
That's one of the points that is interesting in the movie. That there's some kind of schizophrenia in. That's not exactly the exact word.
Right.
Because the first part of the movie is really old school.
Yes.
And the second half is really for the younger generation.
Yes.
It's more aggressive.
It's more aggressive. It's more kinetic. Yeah. I think I was trying to, I wanted to, I think I wanted to make a film that basically found a balance, between the two. It's kind of ironic because the second half of the movie is really the main idea that Lee Whannell and I came up with first. We came up with basically the second half of the film first, and then we realized this is where we wanted. This is how we started, right? And so we went back, and then we worked the film towards the second half. So it's kind of weird. It's like if we did not have the second half, we would not have the first half of the movie at all. So that was kind of our process.
I have one last question. I don't know if I'm right on that, but for the design of the old lady that you see at the end, is there a connection between this old lady and Death Sentence? Because she looked...
A Dead Silence, you mean?
Dead Silence, sorry.
Yes.
Because she looks almost the same. So I don't know if it's...
I'm not. It's definitely something that I find scary. It's something that is personal to me. I find because growing up, I've heard many stories about all women ghosts, and so growing up, I think it's always been in the back of my psyche, in the back of my brain. The image of an old woman ghost that is very prevalent in my own personal experience growing up from a lot of the stories that I've heard. So when I made Dead Silence and I made Insidious, I think I draw from basically the same place of inspiration. And but in Insidious, I went one step further. I don't know if I should talk about it because I don't want to give it away. But with Insidious, the old woman ghost, I did not actually cast a woman. I actually cast a man to play her. But the reason why I did that is because I think what that does is it brings a slightly off-kilter, it brings a slightly bizarre, disturbing edge to it, and I think that just adds to the layer of the film. Insidious has. I think eventually when people look at the movie, after maybe a few viewings, I think you can see that the movie actually has lots of different layers to the film, and that's just one of the kind of layers I really wanted to give the movie. You know, in the same way. I don't want to talk about it too because I've been giving it away as well. I'll just stop right there.
Dalton! Honey, where are you?
Stay here. Foster, stay with your sister.
Dalton!
Dalton!
Dalton! Hey!
What? What happened?
Did you fall? Did you fall off the ladder? How did you fall down? Are you okay?
What are you doing climbing the ladder?
Honey.
Are you okay? What hurts? What hurts?
My leg.
All right. Can you move it? Can you move your leg? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man. What happened to your head? Oh, gosh.
Scraped it.
Okay.
Honey, you cannot come up here, okay? Do not explore anymore. It's very dangerous, okay? It's off limits now.
Oh, God, no, I hope not. Because I'm a lover of cinema. I love all kinds of movies. You know, I love all kinds of genres. So it would suck if I just keep doing the same thing again and again. I love horror movies. You know, I love horror films, but I also love science fiction films. I love action films. That's why I did Death Sentence. You know, when that wasn't something that I came up with. That was a project that was approached and given to me. But you know, I saw that as an opportunity for me to do an action movie, and so I went for it. And so if I get the opportunity to do something outside of the horror genre, I would definitely embrace it.
Because, for example, for me, the sentence is maybe in all the movie you've made is the one I prefer. Because,
Right.
It's the one was more style, and it's not that Insidious doesn't have style. That's not
Right.
exactly
I know what you mean. Yes.
But it's more interesting because it goes back to the old movie like Charles Bronson. I don't remember the title in English.
Death Wish.
Death Wish, and it brings this kind of movie back into our era, and it updates the style, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting because I wasn't exactly sure it was about to work when I first saw the movie, and I was pretty surprised at how much it works. So
That it worked for you. Yeah. You know, Death Sentence was really my love for like you said, very 70s style action. Very gritty thrillers, you know, like I actually was very much inspired by The French Connection. You know, I love that sort of that gritty style, you know, where the movie is shot very much like a documentary, you know, and I love that style of storytelling. I think with Insidious, it had a very similar approach as well. With Insidious, I really wanted to make a very classical, old-fashioned ghost story, a haunted house ghost story, and I really did kind of was very much inspired by, like you said, by movies like Robert Wise's The Haunting and The Innocents, which is another really great haunted house film. I think you know, with Insidious, I really wanted to make a movie that had a contemporary feel, but at the same time told with a very classical, traditional filmmaking language, if that makes sense.
No, but that's the thing which is interesting in your career, because you always try to do something new, movie after movie. You don't try to stay in the same on the same road. You take your influence and you say, okay, I've tried that, I've succeeded, so I'm gonna try another thing. And a lot of directors that you see, young director like you, they tend to have one success in one type of movie and they stay in that line.
Right.
So you try to.
Yeah, thank you. I really think it's because, like I said, I love all kinds of cinema, and even though Saw, Dead Silence, and Insidious are both technically in the horror genre, but they're very different kind of horror films. You know, Saw is very different to Dead Silence, and Dead Silence is very different to Insidious. You know, and so I have to keep it interesting. You know, I don't like to repeat myself. If I cannot bring something different to it and something that I think is fresh or something that excites me, then I don't want to do it. And that's part of the reason why when people ask me, how come you didn't direct any of the Saw sequels? It's because I feel like I couldn't bring anything new to it. And if I cannot bring anything new to it, then I shouldn't be telling it.
Tu es prêt?
Oui.
Ça va, mon chéri?
Salut tout le monde.
Ouais, ça va. Il n'est pas dans le coma. Ils ne savent pas ce qu'il a.
J'étais dans la chambre de Dalton. Quelque chose était là avec lui. Je connais quelqu'un qui peut vous aider.
On a mesuré le spectre électromagnétique dans toute la maison. Fil électrique, radio.
Je ne crois pas que ce soit un problème de fil mal isolé.
Je veux qu'on s'en aille. Je veux partir de cette maison. C'est quoi? Montrez-moi.
Ce n'est pas la maison qui est hantée. C'est votre fils.